I'd like to call this special board meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Demakia.
Yes.
Mr. Fallis.
Present.
Mr.
Present. President Houston, we don't have power here.
You'll be all right.
Present.
Mr. Sturgill. Mr. Sturgill.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Present.
And Mr. Williams.
Here.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand.
Before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to first make mention of the young man that lost his life in a very tragic and unfortunate auto accident early this morning. One of our students from the high school. So before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, please keep your thoughts and prayers to his family as well as the other young man that's in critical condition. And before we do the pledge, I'd like to observe a moment of silence for Cameron Friend. Thank you. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have no business?
No.
Let's have no visitors this evening, so first hearing of the public.
There, it's on. We're good.
I need a motion to approve, amend, and sign the minutes.
Motion to approve to sign minutes from the last board meeting, as stated.
Support motion.
This is the last two board meetings, or last June 24th, June 29th, that we're going to do?
Correct.
Okay. So who did support?
Mitch.
Okay.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Fallis?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
I was not present on the 29th, so I abstain.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
And Mr. Sturgill?
I abstain. I also was not present.
Old business? Important recommendations to the treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Demakia. Three items on the agenda. I'm going to pull the first one. 8.01 is the five-year forecast, which I don't have reforecasted because the official numbers are not yet out from the Ohio Department of Education, so I'll have to retry that one maybe in August when that one becomes more secure. So I recommend for approval the 8.02, the June 2015 financial reports, and 8.03, the purchase orders requiring board approval. And as a footnote, a quick closeout note that the revenues for fiscal year 14-15, we surpassed the $100 million mark in revenue for a general fund at 100.5, and expenses were at 95.3, with the unencumbered fund balance at $5.8 million. So I recommend approval items 8.02 and 8.03.
Motion to approve items 8.02 and 8.03.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Fallis?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And Mr. Demakia?
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Report and recommendations to the superintendent.
Okay, before I begin, I'd like to announce that Lorain City Schools had 2 students involved in a serious accident last night. We will have counselors available on Tuesday and Wednesday for grief counseling services at Lorain High Schools from 8 to 3 on both days. The counselor is there to assist families and students during this crisis. Our prayers are with the families today and forever. Thank you. Under personnel matters, 9.01, administrative staff resignations. Have 1 resignation assigned to 9.01. That would be Assistant Superintendent, Dr. David Hall, who turned in his resignation. to move on to Oberlin City Schools. Also have 9.02, administrative staff appointments. We have 2 appointments on the agenda for an assistant superintendent and operations operations manager. They both are replacements. 9.03, certified staff resignations, be approved. We have 3 teachers, just moving on to other positions. 9.04, certified staff appointments. We have several teachers due to retirement are replaced. We're replacing our teachers. We have large retirement this year. 9.05, support staff resignations. We have 1 interim payroll and benefit specialist. That's Ms. Long. 9.06, staff appointments. We have a payroll benefit specialist. 9.07, OGT tutoring and credit recovery for summer school 2015. We have Sue Pileski, who's on the agenda, who was hired to teach and sub in OGT tutoring and credit recovery program for the summer. We have 9.08, employment of a high school student for Lorain City Schools summer help program. We do have some students here help over the summer with operations and facilities. Eric Nolan was hired for this position. 9.09, leave of absences. We have 2 teachers on agenda for leave absence. 9.10, approve of supplemental contracts for the 2015-2016 school year for 9 certified staff. We're approving assistant 7th grade football coach at Longfellow. And 9.11, approval of the supplemental contracts for the 2015-2016 school year for certified staff. We have 3 personnel going to be recommended for approval. Our head 7th grade football, assistant band director, and our head fall cheerleading coach. Requesting approval from the board for 9.01 to 9.11.
So moved.
Support
Discussion.
motion.
Discussion.
So I have a few questions. I'll start it from the back. 9.11, I see that we have the head fall cheerleading coach. Has there been any discussion or consideration as to whether there'll be a JV squad this year? I know we had restored a number of previously discontinued supplementals and activities, and I know cheerleading came back, but it did not have the JV squad. What is our status with that?
That's just sent Mr. Corey an email, I believe last night, and we will have a JV squad.
Great, good to know. Going back up to the one of the earlier, it had I think 19 or 20 positions that you indicated. This would be 9.04.
Yes, sir.
I see of these 19 of the 20 or 18 of the 19, whatever it is, are teaching positions. Are these new teaching positions?
No, there are replacement positions for teachers that have retired.
Okay, so then where are we to date on the number of retired teachers in positions that are there still any vacated? How many do we anticipate future in the next few weeks or a few months being filled?
We're still in the process of hiring. I believe we talked about that this morning. We're about 90% staff right now.
Okay. All right, that's all I have for that.
I have some questions. First of all, I'm kind of surprised that within the days of Dr. Hall's moving to Oberlin, we're hiring an assistant superintendent. I have no idea who this gentleman is or how things move so quickly. The other is, what is the job description of an operations manager?
I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hawks and probably fulfill that and give you more information or details.
I have the job description. I can see.
Well, just Just give me a real quick.
Oversee the general maintenance, cleaners, it could be the trades, it could be anybody to oversee the facilities.
Is someone leaving?
I'm sorry.
Is there someone leaving?
Somebody,
This is a replacement.
yeah.
It's a replacement. Someone has left.
If you remember Daryl
Daryl
Forbes,
Forbes.
Oh, okay, all
a
right.
long time ago he left. We never.
This was
replaced him.
unfilled.
Yes.
I would like to amend the motion to vote separately on 9.02, I believe it is.
I'll second that.
So the motion, Dale, is going to be 9.01 through 9.11, excluding 9.02.
You have to call.
Okay, hang on.
Second thought, I withdraw my second.
Okay, so the motion is to amend to approve 9.01 to 9.11 excluding 9.02, correct?
It wasn't second.
It wasn't second. It was.
There's no second.
We're still waiting.
I'm sorry.
We're still waiting on a second.
Okay, I thought Mr. Williams second. I missed it.
I withdrew my second.
Pardon?
I withdrew my second.
Oh, you withdrew your second.
Yes.
Sorry.
If there is no second, then the motion still stands as 9.01 to 9.11. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Get it, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Sturgill made that initial motion. Who made this initial second?
Mr. Fallis.
Mr. Fallis, okay. Mr. Sturgill,
Yes.
Mr. Fallis,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
No.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
and Mr. Demakia.
Yes,
That was for 9.01 to 9.11.
correct.
Just one, are we doing anything to introduce the new teachers and staff to Lorain?
Absolutely. We have new teacher orientation coming up, 3 days of new teacher orientation. The teachers also, new teachers will have a tour of our new building, and we also have, there will meet community members as well.
Okay, and how about, one time it goes back a ways, but we used to actually have them spend a couple hours touring the city.
Yes, we're doing that as well.
Okay,
Yes.
very good.
Okay, operation matters. 10.01, consider approval of contract with Edmonton. Edmonton provide a responsive intervention for our students. In the area of Study Island. We also like to 10.02, approval of contract with Achieve 3000. That is also a response to intervention 2 that we utilize with our students. 10.03, approval of a contract with Discovery Education, which provides another intervention for our students as well. 10.04, consider approval of a contract with Computers in Education Incorporated. They provide our ProCore assessment. 10.05, approval of entering into contract with Northwest Evaluation Association, which is our NWA testing for our students, an assessment tool that we utilize for our students. .06, Master Services Agreement with the North Coast Shared Service Alliance and Rachel Wicks and Associates Incorporated. That's our sub-services we utilize. Request approval of 10.01 to 10.06.
Motion to approve operation matters 10.01 through 10.06.
Second.
Discussion.
Question on 10.06 for clarity. As I read the proposed item, is this some type of a merger between Wixie and this 2.0 or something? Or what is, I noticed it was a master agreement that included those two together?
People 2.0.
People 2.0, yeah.
This is our third year with this agreement. We have the teacher subsystems, and we have the I'll see the non-certificated staff subsystems too. This is our third year in this. I'm not sure if they merged or whatever. I know Rachel Wixon Associates is involved with it, and especially the billing and the ASOP functions to track the employees properly. I'm not sure if it was a outright merger.
Okay.
But like I said, it's a third year of this third year, right, Carol? Third year of the contract now, and it's standard stuff for us.
Yeah, no, we've done this before, so it's nothing's different about it. It's the same as has been.
Right.
Great.
Same as always.
Same
Just
as
want to
always,
be clear.
correct.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Fallis?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
And Mr. Demakia?
Yes. New business.
I missed 11.01, sir.
Or 11.
11.01?
Oh,
Yes.
11.01.
Yeah, the policies.
My mistake.
One recommendation, we have 11.01. It's recommended approval be granted to adopt the following new and revised policies as approved by the Policy Committee. 11.01 provides information about the evaluation system of non-represented administrators. We had our treasurer and also our administrative staff develop an evaluation system for our non-representative administrators. Spent long hours and took about a couple months for them to work on this policy. Recommend approval for 11.01 policy.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Fallis?
Yes.
Mr. Demakia?
Yes. New business.
Well, I think there's some new business in the room. Although it's kind of been talked about, we want to formally welcome Dr. Graham. And if you could please stand and introduce anyone who's new to us,
Sure.
we'd be most appreciative.
A couple people. First, my fiancée, Becky Gasper.
Welcome.
I think you met her before. And snuck in at the buzzer, if you go to the wrong door, is the assistant superintendent you voted on earlier. This is Mr. Mick Becerra.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We also have one teacher in the room.
I'm sorry, Lauren Zimmerman. Science teacher.
Yeah, I didn't know if she was with him or what.
What she's going to be doing. She's pretty excited. But I talked to Carol beforehand, and she already knows, so she can probably talk to you afterwards.
Great.
I
Welcome.
would say we give them all a hand.
Committee reports and requests from board members.
I have a legislative report, Mr. President, if I might.
Sure.
And don't try to take all this down, Sherry. I will be sending you it via email. That's what I have done with your predecessors. So there's a couple of non-direct issues that have passed, but indirectly they will be could affect the district. The special election that could be held in February has been eliminated. It will not be available at any time in the future. Second, there is a special election in August that's allowed, but starting now, school districts must pay 65% of the cost of the special election in advance of the election. So we would pay the costs for the number of precincts that would have to operate. If there were any other issues other than school issues, the costs could be shared. The big thing in Columbus right now is the biennial budget. Now, we do get, all board members do get from the OSBA a notice of all legislation pending and passed. And there has been nothing new since I last reported, even though it appears the biennial budget has passed. And has been signed by the governor, although I understand parts of it have been vetoed. I don't know which ones. But for us, for the current school year, this year, 2015-16, from what I found on the OSBA page, we would get from the state $80,241,575 in this year, which is an increase of $5,755,969. For 2016-17, that's the year the high school opens, our total from the state would be $85,167,780. which is an increase over this year of $4,926,205, for a combined increase in the next 2 years of $10,682,174. However, Dale, I believe that number can fluctuate depending on enrollment, and is that right?
That is correct, and the other issue is you have to be careful of is I'm not sure yet how those charter schools will be funded cost-wise.
Right.
That's why it's a little bit premature
Right.
to put that in my forecast.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But
Yeah.
this is this is the table that the OSBA made available to board members. The other big bill that has caused a lot of notoriety is House Bill 70. Well, before I get into that, 45 bills are still pending that would affect school districts. So by the end of the legislative session, which is a 2-year session, who knows what they'll do to us. Anyway, House Bill 70 started out as a great bill. It allows school districts that have vacant buildings the option of turning them into what is being called community learning centers, which means we wouldn't have to put them up for sale or demolish them. However, in politics, the bill itself may be good, but the amendment that they added to it is very not good, in my opinion. The amendment would allow the state, under certain circumstances, based on academic performance, to fire the superintendent and the school board, and to replace them with a CEO appointed by the state and a committee appointed by the CEO. So it basically undoes the election process. To their credit, both our local representatives voted no on the amendment. Senator Gail Manning and Representative Dan Ramos. So if you happen to see them or talk with them or anything, please thank them for standing up for our kids. And that completes my report.
Thank you. Any other reports, requests? Second hearing of public. Our next board meeting will be a special board meeting, July 27th at 6:30, right here, wonderful room 10. However, we might need to have a special board meeting on Wednesday to handle a pending issue. I believe Mitch can be available as early as 5:30. That would be for executive session item only for discipline. So any thoughts? Wednesday works for the other parties involved. I'm certainly available Wednesday evening, 5:30. Any objections?
I have no objections. Just remember, it takes a 2-day notification, so I think we need to
Yeah.
make a decision tonight.
Mm-hmm. You do?
So why don't we just decide to have?
Well, no, the
Well,
president
if there's
can...
no objections, then we're good. We're going to plan
Yeah.
on being right here for an executive session for discipline, Wednesday, 5:30.
It's Wednesday, this coming day after tomorrow, right?
That would be,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Very good. Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Okay.
Wednesday follows Tuesday.
Usually it does, but not always.
We're going to try and amend that with the state.
Don't amend it.
The commission will come in 2 years and fix the calendars.
Perfect. So technically, our next board meeting will be Wednesday at 5:30. But for all those in our regular business, it'll be July 27th at 6:30. That will be a special board meeting right here in room 10. I do need a motion to go in executive session for items A2, employment, 4, discipline, C, conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action, and of course, like all executive sessions, item E, matters required to be kept confidential by federal law or rules or state statutes.
And neither of those items are required to be confidential.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do need a motion.
So
So it's
moved.
not confidential.
Thank you.
Second.
Discussion.
What lawsuit are we going in to discuss?
That would be Emerald.
The attorney for Emerald is not here.
I'm not really concerned about.
I am. You have to have an attorney present, and the
Okay.
attorney for that lawsuit is Richard Panza. I don't see him.
Thank you.
So if we go in, we are breaking the law.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Roll call.
For A2, 4, C, and E, correct?
Correct.
A2, 4, C, and E. Mr. Sturgill?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
No.
Mr. Fallis?
Yes.
And Mr. Demakia?
Yes. You guys can go home.
No action after this one.
No action. We're good. Welcome aboard all the new faces, and
I will be departing.
To purchase a high-quality copy of the program you just viewed, please call Lorain City Schools Television at 282-8400.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.